Hello everyone. Thank you for joining me. Welcome to another movie review. This time we'll be reviewing The Ballad of Jack and Rose, which was released in 2005. I gave this movie a rating of 6. It was viewed in December of 2014. Let me go ahead and just tell you first of all that I believe Daniel Day-Lewis just kind of walked onto the movie set and just kind of got started without any preparation. It's not your typical Daniel Day-Lewis film, but he was a team player, and I think he just did his best without, like I said, any extra preparation for the role. So let's go ahead and talk about the movie. Talk about awkward. That kind of makes you go, that's what the Ballad of Jack and Rose has been like. So, let's summarize the story of the film. Living on an island, Jack, Daniel Day-Lewis, and Rose, Camille Bell, who are father and daughter, are shown reviving the practices of failed communes of the 60s. Then one moment, they were about to engage in a lovemaking session, only to stop short. Is that awkward yet? Jack goes out the next day to transfer his pent-up sexual energy onto some woman he has been dating for 4 months. Afterwards, he asks and pays her to move in with him and his daughter. She does, along with her 2 sons. One is an AC/DC punk, the other has a weight problem, and is an aspiring hairstylist whose aim is to give women boy haircuts. During the first night, Rose sees her father having sex with the woman, and she decides to take off her clothes in front of the hairstylist, who resists her and decides to give her a butch haircut instead. Pretty funny. A couple of days later, Rose, carrying a trap box with a copperhead snake, observes from a distance in the dark a female give AC/DC punk a blowjob in a beat-up car. He sees Rose and he decides to make a move to de-virginize her in a short time later that night. During their brief romp, the snake under the bed breaks free and is let roaming around the house. Pretty weird. The next day, Rose celebrates her deflower moment by hanging up a white bedsheet with a spot of blood on it and declares the sex experiment a success. Jack goes out to have a smoke, takes a look at the flying sheet, and gets enraged because he can't stand the thought of being beaten to it by a scumbag. After breaking his AC/DC's punk's leg and arm, Jack gives money to his mother to move out of the house for good. Meanwhile, Rose breaks in a developed house, and her father sleeps over. They kiss for a moment before stopping short to realize the error of his ways. The next day, the father has a heart attack and dies in his sleep. Rose sets the house on fire and probably regrets the fact that her father never banged her. 2 years later, she is happily working in some nursery somewhere in Vermont. The end. So, what's this all about? I suppose the film is a subtle metaphor in terms of controlled incestuous feelings. Yep, that's what it is. Incest is a huge taboo in Hollywood films, and it's almost never shown in films. The pretentious ending is a disappointment because I prefer her to burn herself in the fire along with her deceased father, which is like Easy Rider meets The Wicker Man. So the most realistic finish should have been her being investigated for murder, because how can she prove that he died of natural causes? Taking the Sean Penn route, Daniel Day-Lewis breaks down to cry more than 75% of the film time and calls it acting. Anyway, why did he agree to do this dreck of a film? The easiest explanation is this. His wife, Rebecca Miller, is the director of the project, so naturally, anything for his wife. Camille Bell is pretty, which is the biggest reason why the attempts at incest are easily overlooked, and is capable of meeting the standards acting-wise. All in all, The Ballad of Jack and Rose is one of the oddest movies I've ever seen in my life, and I rate it a 6 because it's so bad and awkward that it is hysterically funny. Also, it's something new, I suppose. So that is my review of The Ballad of Jack and Rose. Quite an interesting film, maybe not for the right reasons, but I have to say, it's not a complete waste of time. If you're interested in something a little different, a little weird, take a chance. Go ahead and view The Ballad of Jack and Rose. Anyhow, Daniel Day-Lewis still remains a fantastic actor, which I can appreciate. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for joining me for this movie review. Please check out my playlist for other reviews. Please subscribe. Thank you, and